We are going live shortly, people. New format, and this is going to be lit. This is going to be a good episode. So just bear with me. Just doing the final touches on some things. All right. So here's the deal. For those of you that are confused, we are live. We're going to be going live with the show in like 2 minutes. So bear with me. Different format. We're changing things up a little bit for the better. So do me a huge favor, tweet this out because we are definitely live. So don't fret. Just letting everybody build up in the chat and all that other stuff. So, be with you in a minute. There we go. That should calm down the natives. All right, people, let's get started. Thank you for being patient and being calm. Just to open this up, today we're going to talk about Google's answer to the games dilemma, our thoughts, and NVIDIA sees major setback with GFN, Amazon bowing in now, and we're going to take your questions, all right, at the end of the show. now on the SSC podcast. Let's get to it.
I'm not sorry. Stay sick cause I follow my gut. They say I was pushing my luck. I'ma push me a matte all black truck. Oh, I'm not sorry.
What's up, people? What's up, people? What's up, people? It is your boy MM2K back again with another one. Do me a huge favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and rock those bells if you have not already. All right. I hope everybody is enjoying their day. You know what I'm saying? Was good. Stadia talk. Hey, my man, hey, Chase, I had to rob you, man. My buddy Chase. Hey, Duncan is in the chat. What's going on? Can y'all hear me? Go to my too loud, all that crazy stuff. Let me know. Hey, big ups to my bro Chase, man. He's really helping me step up the production. He let me know about certain platforms, man. I really appreciate it. Great talk. And we're talking. Our agents are talking. Don't worry, y'all. Our agents are talking. They're dotting the I's and they're crossing the T's. You know what I'm saying? To get me and Chase together again on Stadia Dosage. But man, it's good to be doing this episode again, and it's good for me to try to work this. This is the prologue. Just me chatting it up with you guys. Regosness. I'm sorry if I butchered your name. Xavier Bay, how do I become on this podcast? Xavier, let me know your schedule. After I do a show with Chase, I will let you hop on. You know what I'm saying? Or what are you free now, brother? Are you free now? Let me know, because this operates completely differently from a Discord or something like that. Let me know. Charles Moran, he says the Stadia community is going nuts. Yeah. And let me know you guys' thoughts on all that stuff too. You know, Stadia community going nuts. I see y'all out there and all this good stuff talking about it. Hey, this is some new features too that we can do. Hold on, where's that? Stadia community is going nuts. Look at that, Charles. Hey, Charles, that's a good point. We could talk about that as we're letting people come in. Why do we think they're going nuts? I mean, I'm hearing a bunch of different things, right? I'm hearing how people are questioning the games lineup, and we're going to talk about that. I mean, we've already had people that were upset that the lineup wasn't robust in the first place. And what I'm seeing now is I'm seeing a bunch of people happy that these 5 games came out, but then we got a bunch of people that are saying, oh, these games too, but mainly the people that are part of the latter that are saying, what are these games? These games look trash. They're Stadia haters. I've dealt with some of my friends in the DMs, they were razzing me about it. Porter Rock was razzing me. He said, is this your king? And we'll get into that. This lineup isn't for me. There's something else coming soon that's for me, the hardcore gamer, the one that wants all the blood and guts and gore. And actually, they gave me something, well, courtesy of another game publisher, but they've already given me something. You know what I'm saying? This is to satisfy people with a more robust gaming appetite that like indie games and stuff like that. People like my friend Duncan. I'm pretty sure Duncan appreciates what they put out there. And he says, last words or Panzer are the ones I look forward to. Exactly. That's basically what I'm saying. This so much wasn't for someone like an MM2K. This was not to whet my appetite for games. That's going to be coming soon. You know what I'm saying? But big ups to everybody. Great question, man. So here's what I want to do too before we get into the kit and caboodle. I just want to break everything down for everybody, let you guys know how this is going to operate right now. And here's something that I'm a little curious of. It doesn't show me how many people are watching right now. So because of that, I'd hate to have to do this. I really don't want to over cumbersome my computer. Let me know if this is getting like real, if this is dragging. This is because I got so many screens open and stuff. This is really bogging down my all right, videos. Oh no, this is the wrong. Oh, ain't Stadia Dosage. That's Stadia. I wish I had 185,000 followers. Okay, so we got 11 watching right now, and that's cool. And if this bogs things down too much, let me know. Like if the stream is running slow or anything, definitely let me know. We'll change it up. But with that being said, y'all, Stadia Talk says the studio should show how many live viewers there are. Yeah, I know. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to change the format of this, and I completely agree. Change, but it's still a great and professional looking platform. The thing that boggles me though is that they don't have a web-based integration. Like, for instance, well, I'm gonna do this too. If you guys can do me a favor, if you guys want to show support, that's great. That's fantastic. It's not a need. You ain't got to pay. This is not pay to play here. All right. With that being said, for those of you that are not aware, you can support the live stream. You know what I'm saying? If I can find it, I can't even find my damn. All right, hold on. Let's do it like this. HNDC.live. You go to hndc.live/tips. Okay, that didn't work. Donate. Oh, hndc.live/tip. That's what it is. I need to put that in here. Let me open up content tags. Let me open up stream, messenger. All right, we're going to do something like this. I'm sorry, guys. New platform, trying to get used to it. That's all. I'm going to close that out. I can't even see anything that's going on. Hold on. What happened? I hope I didn't close everything out. We still, okay. And then where is the, okay, there we go. All right, guys. So if you're interested and you want to support the platform, you know what I'm saying? There you go, hndc.live/tips. It'll lead you to our donation page, and it really goes a long way. And I want to big up to Plyromatics. He gave us a big donation not too long ago. Here's the thing. This is what confuses me about this platform, which I'm kind of, I think this should have been integrated by now. Hopefully what they'll do is they'll add like a Google Chrome extension to add this. I'm surprised there's no browser integration, so people who may donate or may leave tips can't get notified, right? Like, this is what I had to jerry rig, just so you guys are aware. I had to jerry rig this in order to make sure that people that do donate don't get lost in the sauce. It's not working. What's going on here? Share screen. Oh, add to stream. There we go. All right. So, brand, not that logo. I want the background. There we go. All right, there we go. So what you'll see here is that's this black screen to the right. That's where all my donation notifications will pop up. And I had to do it that way, unfortunately, just to show you how it's going to work. Stream. Let me go here. Don't do that. Okay, so if you go to, well, you don't have to go anywhere, but let's just say somebody leaves test. Now see that? Now, if you want to leave 90, that was fake, but if you want to leave $90, I'm not gonna get mad at you. No, I'm just joking. But see how that works? So I had to jury rig that, had to play around and get that to work. So notifications can pop up that way. And my Nightbot is in here, leaving a message. I meant to add that to my Nightbot. Stated Talk says, I think that comes in the Xmas to compete with the consoles. Okay, this is Yep Duncan. This is also there was a Baldur's Gate 3 nugget in the news. It's coming this year. Oh, look at here. I got something for my friends on Twitter. Let me see. I don't believe. And they're razzing me on Twitter. I wish I could show this to y'all, but they're razzing me on Twitter because of the games lineup. And it's okay. It's part of the console war and all that other stuff, but that's all right. You know, I'm not mad at them. I'm not mad at them because I dogged out Phil. I dogged out Phil. I did. I'm not even going to lie. I was on the show last night with Next Gen 720. And again, it's not for the faint of heart. It's very adult themed. It's not pornographic, but it's very adult themed. Well, most of the time it ain't pornographic. Very adult themed, very raunchy entertainment. And I kind of wasn't nice to Phil Spencer because Phil flip-flops all over the place. Me and Chase talked about this on his show, where I believe that he believes what he says, but I don't think that he understands that for sake of perception, that his scatterbrainness, and I know that's not a word, but his scatterbrainness doesn't resonate well with the more savvy consumer. And again, I'm not the sharpest pencil in the box, but I consider myself the more savvy consumer, meaning I'm not just going to jump up and run and buy something. Things have to get vetted with me. I have to kick the tires a little bit and see what's going on, right? And Phil tries to talk to the unknowledgeable gamer, and I understand there may be more casual, whatever, but just because you're casual don't mean that you're stupid. And I think what he does is he goes to his PR people, they test run phrases, they high five each other, that's going to work. And then he goes out there and says something that contradicts something that he said 5 minutes ago. So I had looked back to his interview on Gamer Tag Radio, where he had talked about why he thought that using the moniker the Netflix of gaming made him cringe or made him bristle. And for those of you that are not familiar with the term bristle, it means that you jerk back in anger, that, you know, you're kind of like perturbed that somebody said something, you know. But I went back and showed time after time, where it was Phil and Sachi themselves that used the Netflix of gaming, that used that moniker. So what are you talking about? Even back in 2017, you're the one that started it by saying that we need a Netflix of gaming. Satya Nadella in a conference call, in an investor call, January 2019 said, we like to be considered the Netflix of gaming. I'm paraphrasing here, but that's basically what he said. So we just got to stop this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just wish that, Phil would sit back and let the opportunities and the hard work of the people that work there at Xbox shine, because every time he opens his mouth and he contradicts himself, all he does is dolls. He dolls whatever they do. That's great. And Phil has to understand that it's bigger than him. And that's where I appreciate our Phil. Even though, see, we get to both of, we get two extremes here. One Phil talks too damn much. The other Phil isn't vocal enough. You know what I'm saying? You couldn't find any bigger polar opposites than that. And that's where I do appreciate our Phil, to where even though we want him to speak up a little bit more and be a little bit more transparent and vocal about some things, I appreciate that at least we know they're burying their heads in work. You know what I'm saying? Where Phil, he's on social media talking about this, talking about that. I mean, I know the guy has a busy itinerary, but it just seems like that he's too rooted and open in his mouth. Be quiet. Sometimes you can appreciate the people that are quiet and that are just doing the hard work. So I want him to be quiet for a little bit. I know that sounds rude. That might not be the most polite. And I know other entities say you have to be nice, because I'm not here for Phil. I'm not here for our Phil. I'm not here for any corporate entity. I'm here for you, the unsuspecting gamer. All right. If I was here for them, I'd have tried to get 1,000 followers years ago, and I would have been so nice with my clarinet, trying to play music that'll, make them slither over here like snakes. You know what I'm saying? With my clarinet, to be nice to them and to brown nose them. No, it's not about them. It's about you. Okay. So I could care less if they're upset about anything that I have to say. I'm not going to get too belligerent, even though I was close the other night. I'm not going to get too belligerent. I'm not going to get really ridiculous, but if I got some things to say that are sharp, oh well. You guys are multi-billion-dollar companies. While we're sitting there putting together pennies to buy these games, you guys are eating lobster and steak. I'm not. If you ain't got tough enough skin to handle sharp criticism, oh well, too bad. Too bad. Go ride. Go take a ride in your Lamborghini and wear it off. You know what I'm saying? Shake Capo. Big up to Shake Capo. Shake Capo says, "What do you think about the newly announced Stadia games?" Shake Capo, he likes to. He's a razzer too. He's a big time supporter of my content. Big up to Shake Capo. As I said earlier, I'm gonna get to that. The games is the big. Well, you know what? No, actually, that's a perfect segue, Shake. I'm going to get into that right now. Let's talk about it. Boom. Subject number one is the games, right? Let me do this real quick. And a big shout out to my friends at StadiaSource.com. I almost called them Stadia Dosage. At StadiaSource.com. Let me remove your comment, Shake. Let me go here to the banner so I can be games debate. That's what we're talking about now. People are concerned about the games, you know, like what's up with the games right now. We don't like what we're seeing was the concern, and there's not a lot of games coming out. Now, I'm going to be honest with you right now. The angst about games is real. I may have had my second thoughts about the people that are in the Reddit now, because once I dropped that comparison video, where I compared Destiny 2 on the phone opposed to Destiny 2 on, I compared Destiny 2 on the phone in comparison to xCloud and then Stadia, and then that shook the world. Everybody shut up with all their crazy rhetoric. But on the heels of me doing that, people still were upset about games. And I took that video to Reddit to gauge people's thoughts. And I didn't get what I expected to get more than not was, well, okay, we get it, but Stadia still ain't got no games. And I was expecting a well-rounded conversation with people in the Stadia community that are upset. But I didn't get that. I got interaction from a lot of people that I'm almost 1,000% sure don't even have the Stadia platform. They don't have it. And they were making excuses for xCloud, like, well, xCloud pings to the 7th tower in the Northern Trust. They were making it on the rings of Saturn. They were saying the most silliest things that made no sense. And I'm like, what are you talking about? It's clear cut. Same device, same phone, didn't skip a beat. The performance just isn't there. So I'm convinced. I did have this conversation with Duncan on my show a couple of weeks ago. Duncan says that there's a lot of passionate people, and I don't doubt that. With that being said, I think that the most vocal people in the Stadia Reddit are just Stadia haters. And I think I won't say all, but I think a good number of them, not all of them, but a good number of them, of the most vocal people, are ones that don't even have the Stadia platform. They were saying stuff to me that utterly made no sense if you had the platform, even if you tried it earlier on and you got rid of it after the fact. They said stuff that of the most unknowledgeable people that never touched the platform. That's the only way that the verbiage that they were feeding back to me would make any sense, is if they never touched the platform. So I want to separate the Stadia Reddit from people that have legitimate angst about games. My observation of those people that have legitimate angst about games is that's the indie crowd, the people that love the indie type games, people like my friend Duncan. And Duncan I don't want to talk for him. He can illustrate so here in the chat, you know, that these games are games that cater more or less to what he may be looking forward to play. For instance, I'm on the wrong page. Let's go to the main page. Kind goes on sale tomorrow. Hey man, these people are dropping stuff all the time. Big up to Stadia Source. So new games is announced for Stadia. Let's take a look at it. Let me hide this. There are Lost Words, Panzer Dragoon, Serious Sam, Spitlings, and stacks on the stacks on stacks. Okay. I have no interest in any of these games except possibly Serious Sam collection. And let's take a look at that. Let's watch that real quick.
Yourself. Party time.
Okay, that was Serious Sam. That was serious. Yeah, that's going to be the game that I look forward to the most. But again, these lineup of games are not for me. For the super, and I had my background with Serious Sam. I used to go mad like Cold Blood, since they did in the chat right now. I used to went mad because my brother used to play Serious Sam on the PC all the time, and I tell you guys recently stories about how me and him were doing some serious gaming. I almost said heroin. Some serious gaming. My apologies. In the 360 era, and I would watch him play Serious Sam. And I like that until it came to the original Xbox, and me and him played it. I think you could do it through the stream connect, whatever they call it, where you connect your two Xboxes via a LAN, and a LAN cord or crossover cable. I think it was. Y'all can play together. Man, that's an intense game. That's an intense game. Okay. So that's the only game out of these that I care about. The rest of these, I think, are more or less are going to make my friend Duncan, and I see Charles in the chat. Charles says, Landed Dragoon for me. There you go. You know what I'm saying? Those are games for my friends there. And that's fine, because I think they've been the most vocal people about this. They've been the most vocal people about these games coming. So it's great that those games are there for them. Here's the thing though. The people that like, even my friend, they were razzing me. I ain't gonna lay waste to them and name any names. But here's the thing, that being in the know, that's why I used to engage them all the time, because I got this itching urge that when I feel people are saying something incorrect, that it's not intentional, and maybe we want to correct them, or maybe we want to not necessarily correct them, but give them the right information, because I'm of the mind state that everybody benefits when they're more knowledgeable, whether you like something or not. And that's something I got to get over, because people love being ignorant. People just love being ignorant and spouting stupid stuff. So I don't even interact with a lot of people that say, oh, this is about state, because they're not saying it to be informed. They're saying it because they love the comfortability of the limited stuff that they know, peering past the little bit of information that they have in front of them is too much for them to handle. And I got to remember that. I got to get over that. So as I'm being razzed about this or that, the fact of the matter is that this is early access. They got the people that are tech enthusiasts that care about these, they care about the tech, care about cloud gaming. They got us to pay for the Chromecast, for the controller, to test it out. And in more cases than not, we know the stuff works, and we're loving the experience. What we're not loving is the lineup. And the most vocal people about the lineup are the people that love indies, the people that run through more games, the people like me that play the hardcore games, that like to sort through them and pour through them and go through every nook and cranny. For the most part, we're kind of happy. Like Metro, they just dropped new stuff. Borderlands 3 is now getting DLC added to it. You know what I'm saying? Ghost Recon Breakpoint. You know what I mean? That's a games as a service game. So is Borderlands 3. Red Dead Redemption is one of the longest games in the history of mankind. You see what I'm saying? So this system hasn't even been alive, I think, for 90 days yet. So we're talking about 3 months' time. These games have come out. People are still pouring through the first one or two that they have access to. And then, mind you, there's even Destiny out there for the people that want to play that. So there are options for the hardcore that'll keep them involved. These are for people that like indies, that, you know, like to play quick hit games too. And these games will satisfy them. So for me, the hardcore gamer, the games as a service guy, I'm fine. This is the stuff. Stadia has everything that I be playing on, what's it called anyway, that I be playing on a console anyway. The big kit and caboodle is going to be March, when Doom comes and then Division 2 drops. And they would be smart when Division 2 drops, if they make Division 2 free, if they make, because Division, Ubisoft is now giving it out for $3. So what would be great, because y'all have that partnership, is to show some love to us, make the base game and all the prior DLC free. And then this new Warhammer, whatever the hell it is, map that's coming, make that $30. You can't beat that. And I would drop it earlier, like a couple of weeks sooner than this new map pack comes out. Make sure you drop it with us sooner, make it free. So we have like a couple of weeks to get up to level 30, even though I know there's a way that you can bump yourself up to level 30. But let us experience the base game first, if we want to, and then drop the map pack for $30. That would be great. And that would be a great filler, for the simple fact that we ain't got Uplay Plus yet, because a lot of people were eyeing Stadia for the sake of Uplay Plus. You know what I mean? So, I don't know where, I don't know. See, and let me do this. Big ups to Stadia Source again. Let's look at the games. This is what we have currently, the newest games. We got Supercross, Ghost Recon Breakpoint, Borderlands 3, Dragon Ball Xenoverse, Darksiders Genesis. That's a fantastic game. And it's not even out on consoles yet. And it's better than the crap that we're seeing in the console for the last couple of months, for the most part. We got Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Attack on Titan, Destiny, Farming Simulator, Final Fantasy 15. We have Guilt, which is exclusive, Kind, Metro Exodus, Mortal Kombat 3, NBA 2K20, Rage 2, Rise of the Tomb Raider, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Samurai Showdown, Thumper. You know what I'm saying? And these are the games that are coming out, you know, as early as next month. Doom Eternal. Baldur's Gate is coming out this year. Doom. We got Serious Sam Collection that's coming out likely, I guess, I'm guessing this month. Elder Scrolls Online is coming soon. So we got some games. Division 2 is coming soon. So we got some games that are in this early access period that are still coming to the platform that are going to satisfy the hardcore. We know that halfway through the year, they're going to release this 120 games, and the 10 exclusives that are coming, right, in the first half of the year. Like, people are just silly. They're silly, and they love being silly, and they love being they love lacking knowledge. Now, again, don't get me wrong. I'm not lashing out because of my friends that just like to poke fun in the console war thing, you know. But understand that there's not. They act like there's only 3 games on the platform. You know what I'm saying? There are all these games on the platform. We got Wolfenstein Youngblood too. Great games that they haven't even touched. These same games that they're saying, oh, y'all ain't got nothing for. These are the same games that they don't even touch. I mean, that they have in their lineup that they haven't even touched. That they want to play. That's in their backlog is what I'm trying to say. These, oh man, I really want to get to that. I really want to try out that Metro. I really want to try out that Borderlands 3. There's people that still haven't played Borderlands 3. There's people that's going to jump all over Darksiders Genesis. That's not even out on console yet. Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? Like, and as far as my Xbox brother, y'all really need to slow down. Slow down. Like, if you look at every piece of exclusive content that came out in 2019 in comparison to our exclusive content on Stadia, we still beat you. Destiny 2 is more of a well-regarded game than even Gears 3 is. I mean, Gears 5 is. Your maker left. Your maker left at the infancy stage of Gears 5. He's gone. Roth Ferguson is gone. He went to go kick around and do some hacky sack with Mike Ybarra. Gears 5 is lost in the sauce now. Stop it. So Destiny 2 is a bigger title than Gears 5. All right, then what else did y'all? Yeah, Crackdown 3. Guilt and Darksiders Genesis alone. If you matched them up alone, I bet you it has more of a player base than Crackdown 3 on console and PC. Like, what are we doing here? Like, don't be stupid. Cold Blood Sensei says, hold on. And I love this new ability here. Cold Blood Sensei says, hey, Mo, stop capping. Just start up Just Dance and show us some moves. No, brother. No, y'all ain't gonna get me into that. But what are we doing here? Like, that's why I told my Xbox people, like, stop it. Like, you have no leg up in this argument. Everything that you've dropped in 2019, our line, what we have exclusive is better than yours. Like, stop it. And in 2020, I'd rather play Serious Sam. I was arguing with somebody behind the scenes. I pulled up my infamous picture of Grounded. I'd rather play Serious Sam than Grounded. I just showed y'all the video reel. Like, what are we doing here? Stop. My Xbox people don't have a leg up in this argument. And y'all won't have a leg up until Ori comes out at least, or Halo. Like, so y'all need to be mute, really. But with that said, yeah, that's where we're at, man. That's what I feel about the games. I don't think it's a big deal. It wasn't for me. The most vocal people that were upset about the lineup, they were upset with the volume of games. And I think they will be satisfied with that announcement. And hopefully those games come within like in a week or so, you know. But it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Okay. Love this feature, man. Let me try something real quick. So again, if you guys want to drop something in like a semi super chat, help support the stream, you know, help support what your boy's doing, multiple channels, entertaining stuff. Gumshoeing, finding out when Phil Spencer don't know his, like, what did I say about his? He don't know his left foot from his right elbow. I don't know where the hell I got that from. But in that Twitter clip that I played, he don't know. Hey, if you like little snazzy puns like that, you know, you want to support the channel, definitely do so by doing that. And if you do that, it will show up there in that box, and I'll give you an example how. There you go. Look at that. Look at that beautiful beam footage right there. It'll show up right there. Okay, so let's go on to the next subject matter. Cold Blood Sensei says 5 games is weak after that long of a drought. So we went 30 days without a new game. No. I'm sorry. I'm lying. We went less than 30 days without a new game because Supercross 3 came out. Let me go back here. Let me do this. This is where we got to be in the know. Supercross 3 came out. That released in less than that came out February 4th, 2020. Right? That was less than 30 days. How many games came out for Xbox? Or how many, you know what I'm saying? Like, how many new games within the last 30 days came out for those platforms? Can someone give me a link? I mean, that's a serious question. It should have been like more than 15 to 20 games. And they look, Cold Blood, you're not being reasonable. Show me 15 to 20 games that came out for PlayStation or Xbox in the last 30 days. This is a new console that's not even at full launch. When the Xbox and the PlayStation released in their first year, how many games did they have? Like, what are we doing here? This system has been out for less than 90 days. This system has been out for less than 90 days, and they have more games than what PlayStation and Xbox had at their release. Like, do we are we really being not ridiculous? Like, how many games? How many? I want somebody that says y'all should have more games. I want y'all to show me how many games PlayStation and Xbox had at launch in the first year. And then, for those of you that feel like we didn't have enough games in the last 30 days, show me how many games came out for Xbox or PlayStation in the last 30 days. And y'all have way more support than we do. I want to show y'all that gap, even though we have way more support than y'all do. I mean, y'all have way more support than we do. I want to show you that gap isn't as wide as the support that y'all have. This is the new system. So again, when y'all can show me those two, then we can continue that discussion. But, and again, I'm just saying, like, let's really think about it. How many games did Xbox and PlayStation have the first year they launched this generation? And y'all are established platforms. Did y'all have as many as this? Did y'all have as many as this? No. No. Show me, Cold Blood. Show me the launch lineup of PlayStation and Xbox in that first year. Show me. I get your point. You said that they have third-party support. That's what I just said. Y'all have way more third-party support than we do right now. I want y'all to show me the list of games that was available at the launch of the PlayStation and Xbox. Put that link in the chat. You're a mod, Cold Blood. Put that link in the chat, and we can go over it. We'll do it during the Q&A session. And then I want you to show me, somebody also drop a link in the chat to show me how many games came out in the last 30 days for both of those platforms. Stadia Talk says, whoa, catch this news. YouTube paid Activision Blizzard. What? Hold on. Whoa. Hold on. YouTube paid Activision. Oh, YouTube paid. Okay. All right. Hold on. All right. Got me excited there, Chase. YouTube paid Activision Blizzard $160 million for 3-year exclusivity for Overwatch and COD. So that's how much they paid for the esports rights. Oh, okay. Got me excited there. I thought it was like, what? That's crazy. Yeah, but that just shows you that's a great sign, Chase, to show that who's the parent company of YouTube? Google. Who's the parent company of Stadia? Google. This is not some big ups to my homie Generation Stadia. This is not some startup company. They got money to burn. This stuff is coming. This is the data collection phase. And once they come out with the full kit and caboodle, then that's when you're going to see everything drop. This is cloud gaming. This is a different era. This is done differently. Because this is cloud gaming, you have to get a lot of test cases done. Shadow Blade went through the same thing. NVIDIA GeForce went through the same thing. NVIDIA GeForce was in beta for 3 years. Here's the difference. NVIDIA GeForce doesn't necessarily have hardware that's vital to the instrument of the gameplay. They have the shield, but the shield was just an extra peripheral of hardware. The Chromecast Ultra and the Google Stadia controller are instrumental to Google Stadia. They had to get those in everybody's hands. Those retail are $140, $150 devices. They weren't going to eat the cost. So they said, okay, if you pay $130 up front, you can be part of this early access where we're going to collect data. We're going to give you some games to play or whatever. Now, if they would have phrased it a little bit better, I think it would have went over a lot better. The problem is that they figured, I'm assuming that if they would have phrased it that way, they feel they wouldn't have got the participation that they wanted. But I think you didn't get the exact participation that you wanted by not being that transparent. Been there, done that. It's over with. Okay, we're going to cry over spilled milk forever? No, we're not. Are we still going to talk about the red ring of death? No, we're not. Are we still going to talk about Sony getting hacked? No, we're not. Like, stop it. Like, you know what I'm saying? We know the platform works. We know this is Google. Chase just alluded to they paid $160 million just for those 2 games to be exclusive for esports. What you think they're going to do for games? What you think they're going to do for games? Like we got to keep it honest here. You know what I'm saying? But big ups to the homie Chase for showing that, right? All right. Charles Duran said, here's a challenge for Sam fanboys. Show how many games Xbox at launch. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Compared to Stadia. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's all I want them to do. So we just got to keep it real. Is this what we're doing is we're looking at the games lineup compared to Xbox and PlayStation, but those have been established platforms for 7 years in this generation. And we're comparing it to Google Stadia. And y'all think what Google said, like I surmise there's probably 5,000 games between the two at least that have been released. Well, Google Stadia was supposed to release with 1,000 games. No, it wasn't going to happen. It wasn't going to happen. You know what I'm saying? Like they released a year going into the final year of the established platforms for 7 years. To make that comparison is ludicrous. The better comparison is to say, how many games came out at launch for those 2 platforms in comparison to what Google Stadia has? And let's look at the caliber of those games. Everybody's laughing at Stadia's games, but let's look at the caliber of the games that launch for Google opposed to the caliber of games that launch for PlayStation and Xbox at their launch. That's the more fair analysis. But I digress. All right. So we're going to move on to the next subject matter. And that is GeForce NVIDIA Now woes. The woes for GeForce Now. I always get that butchered. GeForce Now. I said GeForce NVIDIA Now. They're losing all Activision Blizzard games. A bad sign for cloud gaming. All right. So this comes via The Verge. And here's the thing. I did a video on this, and my thoughts are, I think it's silly. I think it's silly, for one, that The Verge phrases this article this way. Let me see if I can go down to the paragraph. And it's right here. It says, regardless of the reason, and I think this was so ridiculous, regardless of the reason, it's worrying for those of us who are excited by cloud gaming's potential to see a service like this hobbled because one party or the other didn't want to work out a deal. Where was the same energy when with the what I alluded to, courtesy of the homie Cold Blood Sensei, putting out the fact that we don't have a lot of games in comparison to Xbox and PlayStation. We're early access, but the fact that we don't have those games, y'all didn't meet us with the same energy. Y'all didn't say, "Oh, it's a shame that everybody ain't flocking to Google Stadia. It works." No, what did y'all do? Y'all lied about our performance. Y'all lied and said that Google Stadia can't do this and do that. Y'all had the fool that had the VPN active. And I'm sorry, maybe I shouldn't have called him a fool. But y'all had the young gentleman that had the VPN active that was playing Destiny and was like, see, it ain't working. He was hitting the space bar. Nobody went to go test his network integrity. Nobody asked those normal questions about that. You know what I'm saying? Y'all just went and lied about the platform and blamed us that game developers and publishers weren't coming to us to put games on our platform. Y'all blamed us. But when the reverse happens to somebody else, then the response is, "Oh, this is a shame. Oh, people making decisions about what they want to do with their own material." Like, stop it. It's silly. Do y'all understand how hypocritical y'all look as media entities? Do y'all understand why? I appreciate y'all giving me material, but do you understand why we continuously call for y'all to be ignored? And you know what? I can only blame myself because I'm here on their article. And so I'm giving them clicks. And you see this at the bottom? I'm feeding their ad revenue. So let me get the hell off of here. Let me close that. I don't even want to entertain that garbage. That's a tweet that I'd rather entertain a little bit that I'm going to get to in a little bit. But that's my thing, y'all. Like, Y'all got to be aware of how this works nowadays. Nobody does this because they have some integrity. This ain't back in the day, y'all, where people were gumshoeing, hitting the pavement, trying to provide you truth. It's all about the clicks and the ad revenue. It's all about that. And whatever to get y'all to react, that's what they're going to do. And the best thing to get people to react while Xbox and PlayStation really don't have any news is to get y'all to react about Stadia. Stadia's trash and this and that. And meanwhile, if you're an Xbox enthusiast, our exclusive content was better than yours in 2019. And 2019 was your best year so far. With Gears 5. That's the best game, the best offering y'all got on Xbox so far as quality. And our content was better than yours. It was better than yours. In 2020, y'all still ain't got Darksiders Genesis. I still got better stuff to play than y'all in the last 3 to 6 months. And y'all are an established platform. But nobody talks about that. They lie about the performance, and they lie or they're hypocritical to say, "Oh, well, GFN, it's a shame that they're doing that to them." Look, regardless of what y'all think about Activision Blizzard, that's their property. They can do whatever the Sam hell they want to do with it. Just like when people weren't running to our platform. What did I say to y'all 4 to 5 weeks ago? I didn't blame them. I said, y'all got to make it paramount that they need to bring their stuff to us. Because y'all sit there just keep running to Phil Harrison. Where's the games? Where's the game? He's not a developer. To these publishers, this platform has to look viable. And in order for it to look viable, y'all got to do what? Raise y'all voice. That's it. If y'all raise y'all voice, then they'll come to like, oh, okay, well, they're supporting that platform, not hiding out in Reddit. Remember when I said all that? So even I wasn't whining and complaining, oh, they're not bringing their games here. You ain't hear that from me. I said it's up to us and Google to make it paramount that they bring the games here. Google got to put the money in the duffel, put the duffel on the table, and then we got to raise our voice. The culmination of the two will bring the games to us. But this is pathetic. That's a pathetic excuse. I ain't trying to hear that garbage. NVIDIA GeForce has established relationship with these publishers and these developers for years. 4 years. If they can't get them to stay, that's on them. That's a fault of their business model. Just like if Google can't get people to want to develop games for them, that's on them. That's on their shoulders. So I don't want to hear that crap about, oh man, what did he say? I know I said I wasn't going to do this, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. They've already got my ad revenue anyway. What's that garbage he said? He said, regardless of the reasonings. Hold on. What the hell's going on here? He said, regardless of the reasons, because my southern accent, the reasonings, regardless of the reasons, it's worrying for those of us who are excited about cloud gaming's potential to see a service like just hobbled because one part or the other didn't want to work out. Man, shut the hell up. Shut your corny behind. Man, shut the hell up. Who was it? Sean Hollister. Shut your. NVIDIA has been an established staple in the gaming world for years. They have relationships with these people. Me and Chase talked about this on his show. The business model just ain't that smart, not diverse, and not lucrative for all parties involved. That's a them problem, okay? That's a them problem. Just like if we don't get games, that's a us problem. We got to work it out. But I, under no shape, form, or fashion, I am not looking to make any excuse for somebody like NVIDIA that has a net worth of 27 billion, I think it is. They need to do what they need to do to make it lucrative for everybody that's involved. And apparently they have it. And it ain't just them. It ain't just Activision Blizzard. Who else ain't getting involved with these mugs? Let me see here. Where's that part? Oh, hold on. I can't find it all of a sudden. Oh, here you go. Why ain't my cursor working right? Capcom, EA, Konami, Remedy, Rockstar, and Square Enix, all which have seemed to pull out after NVIDIA's beta period ended. Like, stop it. Stop. That's a them problem. So, with that being said, they just got to work out their kinks. Just like Google Stadia got to do what they need to do to get the attention in their favor so people can be more invested in a product. And when Base launches, they need to definitely make sure that they got all their ducks in a row. And Base needs to launch sooner rather than later. I want them to get it right. I want them to get all the staples of it right, all the pillars right, make them all secure. But they don't need to be launching this at the end of 2020. That's not good. It needs to come out sooner rather than later, but get it right. You know what I'm saying? But that's on Google to do. This is not a startup company, neither is NVIDIA. So the homie Sean Hollister need to kill it with all that noise. Stop it. Stop it. But here's the bigger thing that also is just ridiculous with the media. This is why I implore my friends. This is what my tweet says right here. This is why I implore my friends. GFN is a cool complementary service to PC gaming. I wholeheartedly believe that because I did a stream on it yesterday, and I'm going to do another stream after this where I'm going to play it on Twitch. Join me on Twitch. You can go to hdc.live to see me live or go to twitch.tv/MightyMost2000 and see me play some more Division in prep of it coming to Stadia. With that being said, do not buy games explicitly to play on the service. It lacks consistency and performance across all supported titles, and now this. I've heard people, and some of y'all I believe are in my chat right now. People have messaged me and told me, MM2K, this sucks. I went and bought Call of Duty specifically for GFN. Because fools, like, and he is a fool, like Sean Hollister, because his whole publication, when the same woes were paramount with Stadia, they made it the reverse. Like Phil Harrison is a developer. Like he just ain't developing these games. When Stadia's going through these same woes, the message wasn't, oh man, why ain't y'all coming to Stadia? The platform is great. Best cloud performance service out there. No, it was, where the hell, why ain't y'all inking these damn deals? Like, what the hell is wrong with y'all? That was the response. But now you do a complete 180. Man, stop it. Shut up. So when these fools like Sean Hollister say stuff like this that confuses the unsuspecting gamer does things to against their own benefit, and they go buy games like Call of Duty for GFN thinking that it's a reliable service for them to play solely, and it's not. I'd hate to put words in his mouth, but it was the homie Wingy and some other people that said that they couldn't play certain games on GFN on their phone because they haven't installed it natively yet. What? How is that a service comparable to Stadia? It's not. It's not. And that's why I get so animated. I don't care about these big wigs. I don't care about Sean Hollister that's getting a nice paycheck from The Verge. I care about y'all. I care about y'all being in the know. So at least when y'all argue in my chat, y'all know what y'all arguing about, whether y'all pick up cloud gaming or not. I want the unsuspecting gamer, regardless if it's somebody that agrees what they're interested in or not, for them to be informed. I don't want the debate clouded in a bunch of muck and innuendo. That doesn't mean anything in hyperbole. That's what I'm here for, to make sure there's balance, that everything is balanced and rooted in fact. You ain't got to agree with me, but at least make your argument from a place of knowledge. That's all. And people at The Verge, they're not doing it. They're getting better. But this was a pathetic plea. This was a pathetic plea. If it's Stadia's fault that they don't have the content, it's NVIDIA's fault that they don't have the business model to keep the people on board, period. Period. Let me go to the chat. Trizzer Rector says, oh, no, that's my Nightbot. Get out of here. Trizzer Rector says, content is key more than ever. Why should I use your platform? Come on, man. Exactly. Nadeem Shakai says, I'm hoping Google has made an exclusive gaming streaming rights deal with Activision Blizzard. This could be huge for Stadia and a huge blow to other streaming services. That could be down the pike. And I want to apologize. I had a spat with somebody on Twitter. He's probably watching right now. I think I can't remember his name, the balance maker or something like that. I'm sorry, I butchered your name. There's a lot of people. You got to understand. There's a lot of people that come at your boy from left to right, and my job again is to cut down the noise and the hyperbole and the rhetoric, and just like help just create straight facts for the unsuspecting gamer. And what he was just simply saying was, hey, you guys be careful. Don't let people believe that this Activision deal is automatically going to lead to that. And I get where he was coming from. It's just that that wasn't the point that I was trying to make. So big ups to him. And he's a stated person. I want to deeply apologize for that, because again, like I said yesterday, like my grandmama told me, it's better to get bees with honey. You know what I mean? And he's a fellow Stadian, and I shouldn't have done that. You know what I mean? So I do recognize when I'm wrong. I know when I'm wrong. You know what I mean? But with that being said, it's not impossible to fathom that there might be a deal looming because of this. They might be working on something. And Activision Blizzard, you know how they like to do it, baby. My PlayStation people know that. They like to come through with the duffels, or they like to come through with their bags open, their duffels open, saying, look, drop us some cash. We'll give you this, that, and the other. They don't care what they yank from who. And Google stated right now, y'all can't be mad at them if they take advantage of that, because of the backlash and the mire that they've gotten from you guys in the media for not having hardcore exclusive content. So if they do ink a deal with Activision Blizzard, it was just a reaction to the rhetoric you guys were giving online. Y'all created this monster, so y'all can't be mad. You know what I'm saying? There was a well-known entity that alluded to that. You know, if they team up and they do something exclusive, these are going to be the two devils you created this monster. You created the monster. So what are you talking about? Like, y'all need to stop. Let's see who else here. We got Cold Blood Sister. He said Phil Harrison is not a dev, but he is the one person that should clarify better than just blaming devs. He looks like a clown doing that. I partially agree with what you're saying. I agree with the heart of what you're saying, Cold Blood, where you say it's all up to Phil Harrison. He's the guy in charge, and the fish rots from the head. So when things don't go right, you got to look at the leader. I'm not of that Xbox ilk where they feel he's just an innocent bystander, like he's somebody that just fell off a refugee boat and he don't know what's left or what's right. I don't fall into that ilk. Yes, this all lands on the shoulders of Phil Harrison, and his communication has to get better. What I don't agree with, and I appreciate your point, Cold Blood, as always. What I don't agree with, though, is that he's blaming devs. He's just being honest. Look, I, as a hardcore gamer, someone that's a YouTuber and someone that creates content, when Phil Harrison came out at E3 talking about games are going to emit at 4K, I knew exactly what he was talking about. I knew exactly what he was talking about, and so did all of you. Y'all knew what he was talking about. Y'all knew that he wasn't necessarily talking about true 4K. Y'all knew that. Y'all knew that. For the simple fact, we have been having a battle about true 4K, dynamic 4K. We've had that battle extensively for the last year or two since the Xbox One X came out. Y'all know the big battle that we had about Red Dead Redemption 2. Y'all know that. So when he didn't say that it was native 4K or true 4K, when he was just saying 4K, when he was saying that, y'all knew the guy wasn't talking about necessarily what 3180 or whatever the hell it is, whatever the resolution is by 2160. Y'all knew that. Y'all knew they was talking about some upscaling this or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Dynamic scaling and all that other stuff. And I necessarily, as someone that's streaming this stuff, I didn't care as long as it looked good. As long as it still looked great, it looked good. Now, games like Destiny being upscaled from 1080 to 4K, again, they were blurry messes at first. But then they worked on that, and like 2 to 3 days later, it looked a lot better. But I get it where the unsuspecting gamer wasn't aware of that. So, yeah, shame on Phil for not being clear about that. That what should have been said, and all you do is you take some time and you just figure out the words. All that had to be said was this platform is early on. There are early on, porting games poses challenges to developers. However, because of our rapid whatever technology, we are able to ensure that regardless of a game's native resolution, it will transmit in 4K. Oh, does that mean that there's dynamic scaling? Yes, there's going to be very, very impressive, very fantastic dynamic scaling happening on Stadia, just as it happens today on native hardware. And it's going to look impressive in comparison to most of the consoles that are in everybody's homes today. And what are most of the consoles that are in everybody's homes today? PlayStation 4 Slims, Xbox One S's, not Xbox One X's and PlayStation 4 Pros. Stadia at $130 looks better than the PlayStation 4 Slim and the Xbox One S at $200, $250, whatever they are retail. And that's a fact. And it's an early access. So shame on them for not focusing on that. No, they wanted to buck with the big boys. They wanted to buck against the PlayStation 4 Pro, and they wanted to buck against the Xbox One X, and they bucked a little too hard there, and Phil wasn't transparent enough to the unsuspecting gamer. So I do agree with that sentiment, but he's not blaming devs. These are ports. So if the devs can't get it to straight 4K via a port, and then we just got access to Unity right now, which makes ports easier, it's not blaming the devs, it's just letting you know the reality. And then when it comes to releasing games, look, you don't step out of line when the devs want you to. The devs probably don't want Phil Harrison talking, especially with all the negative media attention that they're getting now. He can't just come out there and say, yeah, Baldur's Gate. Here goes the thing for the people of Baldur's Gate. Like, whoa, 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 whoa. Hold the phone, puppy. No. And because these relationships are brand new and fresh, you can't do what Phil Spencer does, like how he went on streams and let people know prematurely that Control's coming to Game Pass. You can't do stuff like that. Or how Game Pass prematurely announced that the Division was coming to Game Pass, Division 2 was coming. You can't do that stuff because these relationships are fresh and new. So it's not blaming the devs. That's where he was being transparent. But he wasn't transparent where it did matter a lot about the 4K to the unsuspecting gamer. So I agree with that aspect. But the broad brushing to say that he's just blaming devs when he's talking the truth about announcing games or he's talking the truth about development in that regards, even though it was after the fact, that's not solely blaming devs. But great point. So with that being said, let's move on. Amazon flexes its muscles. Now, this comes courtesy of our homies at Stadia Source, the source for Stadia News, StadiaSource.com. Amazon Cloud to be tested at GDC, and this is from my buddy Duncan. Duncan reports on this. And he says, as we approach GDC 2020, we're getting more and more details about some of the sessions that will be appearing at the event. We recently ran an article about the Google Stadia related ones. However, one of the sessions mentioned recently caught my eye. It is being hosted by Amazon, and it is Deliver Ultra Low Latency Cloud Gaming for 5G devices. Now, being a Stadia focused website, their priority is, of course, Stadia News, but this is relevant. This is all relevant. Very, very relevant. That they show this, that they talk about this. I completely understand where they're coming from there. Let me remove Cold Blood Sensei. I'm still working on this. You know what I mean? All right. How do I unclick Cold Blood's comment? There we go. Thank you for your comment. We're past GFN woes, so I got to get past that. We are now talking about Amazon flexes their muscle. I'm getting there, baby. I'm getting there. I'm going to get better at this. With that being said, again, as a reminder, if y'all want to support the platform, I appreciate it a lot. You know what I'm saying? Help us grow, help us do more things like, get platforms like this up and running for the stream. I think it's working a lot better. I don't know what y'all think. Y'all think this is cool? I like this. I like this a lot. Thank you. Everybody, 1, 2, 3 in the chat say, thank you, Chase. And because Chase did this, I told Dirk Griggity, that's an X-bot. He's one of those filthy X-bots. No, he's my label mate over at PNTS Network. We did Scram Punks last night. Went hella well because we utilize this platform. So thank you again, Chase. I told Dirk Griggity to send all his flowers and a blank check to you, Chase, for referring the service. But you know, big ups to Chase, and then again, we're dotting our I's and crossing our T's to get him on the platform. But here's my thoughts on all this, y'all. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. When Google first, when all this cloud gaming stuff was being talked about, woo, that was delicious. My first go around with it was GFN. So I don't have any hate for GFN. It has a purpose. And it's a great cloud platform when you use it appropriately. You know what I'm saying? That being said, I love the fact that this cloud gaming had great native performance. I mean, it had great performance, and it had, you know, great visuals in comparison to native hardware. I mean, you couldn't, if I put the controller in your hand and said, sit down and play this, and you played the game, you would know that you weren't playing it natively. You wouldn't know. And that's what I loved about NVIDIA GeForce, about GFN rather. So I played that first, and then I got a hold of I caught wind that Amazon and Google was coming, and I was misinformed like you guys. I thought of Phil Harrison as the black cat under the ladder. You know what I'm saying? Breaking glass, bad. Because you know the moniker, and he said he's aware of the memes too. That everywhere he goes, he causes doom and gloom. Which, if you do your research, I urge everyone to listen to podcasts Unfiltered, where they do the sit down one-on-ones with people, and the sit down that Ryan McCaffrey did with Phil Harrison was eye-opening, and it let me know the truth, like that Phil Harrison actually was, he didn't just all of a sudden appear at PlayStation and then they crumbled. Phil Harrison was of the first 40 people that was behind the creation of PlayStation. When PlayStation first started, there were 40 people there, and Phil Harrison was one of those 40 people. And then at the release of the PlayStation 3, he got a more senior role, but within his senior leadership, he was warning the PlayStation brass over in Japan that called all the shots at the time. Y'all don't want to sleep on Xbox. I mean, we get that y'all think that everything's still going to be the be-all, tell-all in Japan, but things are changing, and they didn't want to listen to him. And they were where they were. Phil Harrison left, did his own thing, saw a lot of financial success with a game startup company, and he was able to retire. And it was then that Donnie D, a good friend of his, Donnie D, said, "No, man, look, I want you, man, you're a great guy. I want you, you know your stuff. I want you to come and work with me over at Xbox. I'm in charge of Xbox now." And he kept debating, and and then he finally did it. And then he was in charge of the Peter Molyneux studio. He was in charge of them, but he was battling back and forth with what they wanted him to do with the making Fable a games as a service, and it just took a little bit more time in order to flesh it out. But then Phil Spencer came along, Cutman Phil, Cutman, yeah, that's me. Cutman Phil Spencer came and axed it. And when Phil Spencer did that, Phil Harrison was like, deuces, and he left. He's like, I don't want no parts of this. So very eye-opening interview. Definitely go check it out. But no, the memes behind Phil Harrison are inaccurate. And I have fell victim to it too. They're inaccurate. So, but because I was misinformed, I was like, no, I'm not thinking about Google at all. I care about what Amazon's going to do. Because I already had my mind up, honestly. I was like, this Xbox thing ain't for me. I'm going to have to abandon Xbox and go somewhere else. And I saw the studios that Amazon was picking up. I was like, okay, they get it. I heard that they had, you know, made their alterations in their version of the Crytek engine, and that these guys were serious about hardcore gaming. But what made me abandon them as my predominant entry into gaming, even though they haven't put anything out yet, and some of y'all may say it's still premature in M2K, is they axed a lot. They were supposed to come out this year, and they end up axing a lot of stuff. And after they axed all that stuff, I was like, nah. I'm like, nah, something just don't seem right there. So it seemed like that they may have scaled back a little bit, and they're going to let their presence be known, so they're not completely trampled here. But you know, that's the real competition, though. That's the real. It sounds like they had to cut a lot of people, rebound. Maybe things weren't progressing the way that they thought they were going to progress, and Amazon's the real competition. Xbox, they got a ways to go. Amazon, if they come out next year with something, that's the real competition for Google Stadia. So I think that's very interesting to see that they're going to come to GDC. Google Stadia is going to have a big presence there, from what I understand. And they're going to talk about this 5G network stuff. Yeah, I will keep an eye on Amazon. Amazon is not to be played with. I will be really concerned with Amazon. Treasure Rector says they basically bought the rights to the CryEngine source code. Yeah. Cold Blood Sensei says, I imagine when Amazon launches their cloud stuff, it won't come out. It's like Stadia did. Amazon always puts the customers first. They do everything to keep one as a customer. I love Cold Blood. You gotta love him. Nadeem Shakar says, let's get some more people involved in the chat. He says, I think he lives in London, referring to Phil Harrison, I would presume. And Google is targeting London-based gaming talent, so why not him? I would be curious also who would pull in their Tokyo studios if that ends up being true. Any guesses? I'm not sure. Oh, Dan Hauser left. Oh, okay. They're talking about Dan Hauser. Okay, in that part of the conversation. Okay, cool. And of course, my homie Charles Duran says, thank you, Chase. Yeah, big ups to Chase for doing what he did. Oh, shoot. Here goes Neethles. Good show, but gotta go. The homie Neethles, appreciate you, Neethles, coming through. He was one of the people. I'm telling on him now. He's one of the people razzing me. But appreciate you, Neethles, as always. So with that said, very interesting. I think it's going to be a big deal. Definitely keep your eyes on Google. I mean, keep your eyes on Amazon. Amazon is really going to be the threat. They're really the threat right now. All right, let's do it. Okay, cool. Now to our last topic before we get to the Q&A session. So this was interesting to me. E3 2020. You do this. E3 2020 exhibitor list confirms who's 10. It's a leaked list of people that's going to attend. And it says now that we're firmly in the second month of 2020, this year's E3 doesn't seem all that far off. The E3 2020 website is primed to launch tomorrow, but an exquisitive Reset Era member spotted a link that directs to a site with all the details, including the fact and the list of participating companies. All right, and here they go. Activision. Wow. Interesting, because they ain't been at E3 for a while. Amazon Game Studios. We just talked about them. Bandai Namco, Bethesda, Capcom, Epic Games. Boo, I can't stand it. Calypso Media, NC Soft, RDS Industries, Sega, Square Enix, Take-Two, Tencent, THQ Nordic, Ubisoft, Unnamed VR, by Paracosma, Warner Brothers, and XC Games. Okay. And of course, we know Microsoft is going to be there because they're going to have a game showcase there. So no sign of Google Stadia there, even though we know they're going to be at GDC. My question is, and y'all don't have to answer this now. I mean, well, yeah, you can if you want to. Do y'all think that Google should go to E3? I know I talked about this last show, but really, what do y'all think about them coming to E3? I'll give you my take. I'm still on the fence about it. Unless they're going to do something spectacular, I don't think they should be there. I don't think they should be there. They don't need to be there. This is cloud gaming. They don't follow the norms. Now, I would rather have seen Sony there because Sony are traditionalists, and I think they should have followed the traditional model and did a showcase there. That would have been fantastic. But someone like Google, that's kind of like outside of the norm with the non-dedicated device solution, they ain't got to do it this way. They can do their own thing where, they can showcase what they're going to do and do it under their own helm and control their own narrative. right? So don't force the square into a circle. Don't force the square peg into a circle hole. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't go unless you have something spectacular to show. Those are my thoughts. But I would love to get you guys' thoughts. Everyone's saying, nope, don't go. Nope, don't please. And Treasure Rector says they'll do their own. Says Google will do their own event. Yeah, I think it'll be better. Now here's the second part of that, y'all. Geoff Keighley's not coming. He's skipping E3 for the first time in 25 years. I alluded to this on Scram Punks last night. I'm not a big Geoff Keighley fan. I'm just being brutally honest here. I'm not trying to be rude. Just being brutally honest. You got to be self-aware. When people say MM2K, you always stumble and you're stuttering and all this. It's true. And I got to work on it. You know, it's being self-aware. When people say that Geoff Keighley just isn't talented, yeah. He's big ups to Chase. He's back. He said, no problem, bro. Sorry I stepped away. I don't think he's talented, but what I do think is that he's connected people. He has some great connections in the industry. He's passionate about gaming, and those connections and that passion has led to the talented people coming to the forefront. I think he'd be great working behind the scenes and working shows and stuff like that. I just, his takes on things and stuff like I really don't care for. With that being said, Geoff Keighley, even though I may have my personal feelings about the talent he has, him not showing up is a big deal. It's a big blow. I think it's a big blow. Because he hosted something there. You guys are saying no Stadia E3 yet. He hosted something there. And because he hosted something there, I'm a little disappointed. I'm a little disappointed that he's not going to be there, because if he was the host of the E3 Coliseum and we over at the PNTS network, we ran on our social media channels 24/7 E3 stuff. And stuff that he was hosting for those that wanted to oblige. Because a lot of people don't know what the websites are. So we would do it, and then we would come in every now and again and do commentary. The simple fact that he's not going to be there, that says a lot. And he did a meme of a sinking ship on Twitter and deleted it. And I think he believes that E3 is a sinking ship now. But what he did allude to is that he thinks that the platform should become more digital. And that's the second part of my question, where he talked about E3 becoming more digital and not just being a showroom floor thing. And that alludes to what I was mentioning last week, where I said, I think if Stadia goes to E3, or anybody at E3 in the future, what they should do is they should do what I think Blizzard does at BlizzCon. And again, correct me if I'm wrong about this. I think what BlizzCon does is they give people prime packages where, you get access to certain games and stuff like that, demos and stuff that you can play. And I think that all the vendors there at E3 would benefit from doing this, and particularly Google Stadia. Like if you buy a Google Stadia package, E3 package, you get access to the showroom floor games. And you can demo them over the cloud and stuff like that, and try them out, $20 or something like that. You know what I mean? Or if you want to buy them a la carte, $1 a game, something in that fashion, I think that would go a long way to, again, the superb presentation and something out of the box that Google could do to make their presence at E3 legitimate. Or even if they don't do it at E3, do it in your own separate event. But outside of Stadia, I do think that Geoff is on to something, that all publishers should definitely do something like that to help keep E3 relevant for those of us that like to watch it. Because E3 at the core was a a wholesale conference show where people that sold video games would come there and they would meet with vendors and they would swap product payments and services and stuff like that there. And while they were there, they would showcase the games. And now it's just become a showcase. But people are still paying $8 million to showcase games. Why? When you can showcase it yourself, they're thinking. Now, having it all there at one event is great for us, the watcher. But for the vendor, it's not so great. And E3 isn't doing what they can to accommodate the vendors to make them want to stay, even though they don't need to do the vendor work there anymore. They're not doing what they need to do to accommodate those third-party participants to justify them paying the $8 million. You know what I mean? In their minds. I think it's still a little bit premature to bail out this soon, but it's clear that ESA has to do something to save E3 for the sake of the gamers. And I think part of the problem is that they're like a lobbying company, but they don't operate under lobbying norms. What they do is they collect dues from certain. They're not creating the best environment for their partnerships. They collect dues from people like Microsoft and EA, people that are a part of their establishment. They'll go lobby for games in the government, but they collect dues from these people, and then they what's the word I'm looking for? They rely on E3 for the bulk of their income. And they shouldn't do that. They should take donations. They should take donations from gamers. Gamers would love to give them money when the government goes and says silly, stupid stuff like, we want to ban violent video games because they make people kill other people. When they say stuff like that, we need a robust lobbying group to deal with that. And people would love to donate to them. I had reached out to them personally and said, how can I donate? And we'll get back to you. What? Like, you're not effective by doing that. And because you try to nickel and dime your partners, this is why we're running into stuff like this. So my message is my message is wholeheartedly to the ESA. Y'all got to get better at this. Like, start taking donations. Start taking donations from the average gamer. Listen to the average gamer. Stop leaning on Microsoft and EA to do your beck and wood. Come on, stop. If y'all want to be effective and really do some good to the gaming community, then interact with us more. Open up a damn PayPal and take some donations. And that way, you can do more Q&As with us, and then we'll be able to tell you, okay, this, the digital showroom floor will work, or it's not going to work unless you do this and that. So, again, it's a shame that we're at this place. I don't think that Stadia needs to be at E3 unless they got something spectacular to show, but a spectacular showing could involve the digital showroom floor or things that EA or just EA in general getting better can be relying upon stuff that Jeff Keighley alludes to. So very interesting stuff all together. With that said, oh, no, I didn't want to do that. With that said, now it's the Q&A session. Now we're going to put y'all at the foot of everything. Okay. I want to hear what you guys think. So now for the next few moments, we're going to take questions from you. But while we're taking questions from you, and I ask one thing, if you can do me a huge favor and do at MM2 or at Stadia Dosage, or just type in Stadia Dosage, all one word, because it'll pop up on the screen and I can see it. It'll make it easier for me to know that you have a question for me. Just so type Stadia Dosage, all one word, and then ask your question and we'll get to it right. Or your comment. If you want your comment read, put Stadia Dosage and we'll do that. Also, if you want to support the stream, you can definitely do so. You can do it here. Leave a tip there. And as you leave a tip there, here's what will happen. If you leave a tip there, it'll pop up on the, like so. And it works out for everybody. Let's see a test super chat. Just for craps and giggles. Super chat isn't active. But yeah, so leave leave comments and stuff there. I'd appreciate to hear what you guys have to say. While we're doing that, let's go through the comments section. Trizza Rector says, E3 was formed at a time when game publishers needed a collective voice to be heard of the world. Today, it isn't needed. Absolutely. Trizza Rector also says, at Stadia Dosage, thoughts on Dan Houser and his possible futures. Here's something that everybody's not talking about, and great question, Trizza Rector. Dan Houser left directly after one of the people there at Rockstar riled up against them and kind of said that they were done like Vincent Zampella. Remember that? And then I kind of got shut down. Then directly after that, there was the report of the bad practices at Rockstar, with the bad business practices where people were being killed for overtime and stuff like that. And then you had reports that 2K wasn't the happiest with the multiplayer aspects of Red Dead Redemption. I think all of that, Dan went on sabbatical and said, I'm not coming back. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of y'all fools. Said, I'm tired of y'all fools. So because of that, I think people just aren't connecting the dots and realizing what has led up to Dan Houser leaving. Potentially. I don't want to talk like I'm at the boardroom, but I just find it funny that people aren't examining that. That being said, he went on sabbatical. So he might not appear. He might be done, man. Might have been a lot of pressure. He's like, I'm done. I'm done. The other brother's still there, and the reports are that he's happy. But yeah, I mean, he was behind a lot of the writing and the thought put behind the games. I was listening to a podcast where they talked about all like the satirical humor on current events and stuff like that, and current culture all came from Dan. So yeah, man, it's gonna be a blow. It'll be very interesting to see if he has any prodigies, if he works with anybody closely that maybe can pick up the mantle and continue what he did and extend from it. But you know, we'll see. Great question. Omi Cold Blood Sensei says, Stadia Dosage, most. How long do you give Stadia? He says, how long do you give Stadia to give you the game you always wanted? Oh, that's interesting. It is showing me how many people are watching now. Interesting. I'm not sure what you mean. If you can clarify in the chat, I'm gonna try to speak on what I think you may mean. How long will it take for me to have Stadia give me the game that I've always wanted? Here's my thoughts, Cold Blood Sensei. When it comes to exclusive content from a platform provider, I look at their influence, right? So the reason why I originally was an Xbox fan was because Xbox either created or influenced the type of hardcore games that I like, those hardcore journey type games, those PC-esque type games that were ported, for lack of a better term, over to console with the plug and play factor. Games like BioShock, you know what I'm saying? Games like Fallout. Those games were inspired because of relationships that were developed with Microsoft. Ken Levine tells you, I know y'all, if y'all follow my platform, I'm saying this extensively for the last 2 years. Ken Levine, formerly of Irrational Games, told y'all that if it wasn't for Microsoft, BioShock would have never existed. BioShock 1 and 2, particularly 1, well, I love 2 though, but BioShock franchise to me, and I do have my reservations about Infinite, but regardless, but BioShock is like the most important game as far as I'm concerned in the last 3 generations. Period. For a gamer like myself, no game has had more impact than the BioShock franchise. How it revolutionized gaming. They came up with their own genre. What was it? The shooter RPG or the FPS or whatever the hell they called it. There was no other game because it took elements that we were used to, but meshed them together in a way that has never been done before, and it revolutionized gaming for me. So gamers like myself that wanted those PC type games, the games with the deep lore and the journey and the looting and all the other stuff, but just didn't like the fact that you had to bind 87 keys and do all this. The fact that they were able to take the masterpiece of those games and put them over to the plug and play factor of a console was never done before. So I said all that to say this. I'm not looking for Google themselves to develop those games, but I'm looking for somebody to come forth and start influencing those games again. And what I want Google to do is I want Google to financially support those efforts like how Microsoft did. I want them to support hardcore games, and I want them to support hardcore games that are going to push the envelope and help influence the industry. For instance, the third person over the shoulder game ruled this generation because of Sony. Those are the type of games that influence the industry. Hence why you got Jedi Fallen Order. You know what I'm saying? Hence why you got somebody with the first person pedigree making that type of game to help bring EA out of the muck that they were in this generation. If the games that Microsoft liked were the games that influenced the generation, then believe you me, that would have been the game style that Respawn would have went with. You see what I'm saying? So I want whatever is going to be revolutionary for gaming, that's going to take gaming to new heights. I want Google to financially support that, whether it be in-house or through second-party deals. And they alluded to that in their presentations at GDC last year, and I just want them to follow through with that. So do they necessarily have to develop the game? But I want them to be a big influence for the game that I love to be brought to fruition, like how Microsoft was, because really it wasn't Microsoft's first party games. I didn't really care for the first party games, but it was the games that they helped influence that I love. The BioShocks, the Mass Effects, those are the games that I love. And if Google can do the same thing with another title, another franchise, then great. We also got Trisurrector. He says, Stadia Dosage. What type of game do you think we'll get from Jade Raymond? I don't know. I'm not the biggest Jade Raymond follower. I hear she has a great pedigree. So I'm hoping that the game will be, again, I don't even know. What does she develop? I don't know. I'm not a follower of her. I'm not familiar, rather, of what she's put out there. But what does she put out there? Let me know. They said large scale MMORPGs. Is there any title? Any specific title that I may be familiar with that she may have done? I mean, I can dig those type of games. I can dig them. Assassin's Creed, okay. I loved Odyssey. I love Odyssey. I wasn't the biggest fan of that, but even at that, something grand scale. Because here's how I look at it, y'all. I know gaming is a selfish hobby, but I look at the big picture here. Every game that's made doesn't have to be for me. I'll give you a prime example. Obsidian. I love Obsidian game. I love their isometric games in particular. Two games that I hate from Obsidian is Alpha Protocol. No, 3 games. Alpha Protocol, Fallout New Vegas, and Outer Worlds. I can't, because the 3 things that those games all have in common is they're semi-open world, or they're open world games they're supposed to be action based, but they have a lot of dialogue trees. And those semi-open world action based, real-time action-based games that Obsidian makes, like those 3 specifically, they focus too much on the dialogue trees, and they don't make the back-end reward of going through specific dialogues mean anything. What do I mean by that? Alpha Protocol, for example. When they did Alpha Protocol, it was supposed to be their Jason Bourne, right? Their Bourne Identity game. And it was a lot of talking in it. but the gameplay was, it was lukewarm. And you go through certain dialogue trees and you don't really get nothing for it. There's nothing special that happens. Where in typical Bethesda games or whatever games, when you go and you follow certain dialogue tracks, you might get the boomerang gun or something specific, something grand. When you go through Mass Effect in particular, when you went through the blue and red tracks and it led you to certain worlds that led to big guns, to big attributes. Obsidian is not good at making those connections. They didn't do it in Fallout New Vegas. Their dialogue trees didn't make any sense. You were just going through dialogue trees for the sake of going through dialogue trees. And the decision making didn't make any sense in that game. It was just lore. It was just their extended over the top, very dragged out way of just introducing you to lore is what I'm trying to say. And I'm not a gamer that's always so embedded in every piece of lore that's in the game. I don't care about it. I want to know what gun you're going to give me, what armor you're going to give me. Am I going to get some badass stuff? And they're not great at doing that all the time when it comes to those semi-open world or open world RPG games with serious dialogue trees. Now, granted, they did great with the South Park games, but for some reason, those three titles in Outer Worlds, oh my God. You going dialogue. What was that? What's that Dave Chappelle skit? You know, who's the 5 best rapper in the world? And the 5 best rapper is dialogue. What's the 5 biggest element in Outer Worlds? It's dialogue. That's all it is. And then you go through like 3.5 seconds of shootout. With the shootout mechanics are great, but you shoot things for like 3 seconds, and then you go back to more dialogue. Come on, like, so that's not Obsidian's best foot forward to me. With that being said, I don't mind those games being made because those games will subsidize the games that I do like. The vast majority of the games that Obsidian makes, I do like. So even though I don't like Outer Worlds and I couldn't stand more than 15 hours of it, a lot of people did. It did well in NPD and it did well with sales. So therefore, the next game that they make will be funded due to Outer Worlds. And because of that, I'm likely going to enjoy it. So thank you, Outer Worlds, even though I don't like you. Thank you. And that's how you got to look at things. I'm not mad at Microsoft. Here, they're like, oh, here he goes back to Microsoft. Who's talking about Microsoft? But I just want you to understand where I'm coming from. I'm not mad at Microsoft because they want to do these kiddie games. I'm not mad because Sea of Thieves exists, right? I'm not mad at that. I'm mad at the fact that that's all we're getting from them. That's the problem. If you can do or find great success with those games and don't forget where you came from, bring it back home. It's like The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian will go out to do all this crazy stuff, but he's bringing that armor back home for them to melt it down and to help strengthen us underground. You know what I'm saying? The hardcore gamer. That's what I want Microsoft to have. I want them to have that Mandalorian mind state. With all that crazy and quirky stuff that you're going through above tunnel, when you come back home, make sure you bring the rewards back to us. And that's all I'm saying. And that's what the old Xbox used to do. And that's what I want Google Stadia to do. So to answer your question in so many words, to bring it all home, I don't know what type of game she'll make, but whatever she makes, hopefully, even if it's not for me, it'll attract a lot of attention so they can make games that I will like in the future. But even if they don't, but if I do like it, that'll be great. That'll be a great thing. All right. So more comments. Let's see here. The homie Shake Capo says at Stadia Dosage. Uh-oh. He says, what point next year will be the most critical for Stadia? When Amazon comes out? When Amazon comes out. And when Amazon comes out, when Amazon comes out, what did I say? When Amazon comes out, whenever Amazon comes out, that's when they got to start. And that could be what they're holding back for. Trust me, Google ain't thinking about Microsoft. They're concerned with them, but that's not what's keeping them up at night. It's Amazon. Because Microsoft showed their cards. They're not going to be ready for 3 years. When Microsoft finally hits that lever and says, oh, you know what? Now our server blades are filled with Xbox One S's. Now we can do 4K 60 via xCloud. Microsoft's going to be at 120 frames. I mean, Google's going to be at 120 frames, maybe even 240 frames per second if your display supports it. They ain't worried about them all like that. They just got to battle them in public perception. They got to get better at that. But as far as the performance, they're worried about Amazon. So when Amazon, great question, Shake Kappa, when Amazon come out, we better get ready. We better get ready. That's the real battle, y'all. Ain't no laughing at Amazon. We got to take them serious. Stadia Talk says, yep, great comment. Stadia Talk, my homie Chase says what? Amazon isn't going to play. That's what we need to be worried about. Let me see. We got some more questions up here. Great questions, y'all. Great questions. Let's see here. Stadia Dosage. Cold Blood says, he says, do you still bleed green even a little bit? Great question. I'm gonna say this real quick because I don't want to get too far in the weeds. I had a conversation with my brother not too long ago. Brother lives, he stays down south. When he was up here, he was a VP for former internet company, big time company, but they went through some tragic stuff. I'll leave that for another podcast. But me and my brother, the greatest gaming moments I had was because of my brother, because my brother showed me everything that I know. And it was a time that I was doing like 12, 14-hour days at work and I couldn't game the way. No, it's not that I couldn't game, but I couldn't. I was so disconnected from gaming, I didn't know what was out there. And then something happened, and me and my brother became roommates. And we became roommates. And my brother reintroduced me to gaming. And I was like, wow, man, it really made these leaps and bounds because in between that time when I was working the 14 hours days, I just had a PlayStation 1. That's all I had. And I was just playing games, and the PlayStation 1 was old. I had a PlayStation 1 and I was just playing RPGs here and there. I'd pop in an RPG for a couple hours every other week, right? You know, when I had the spare time. I'd be like, oh, I'm in the mood to play some Xenogears, Xenosaga, whatever, Xenogears. Let me pop that in. And he introduced me to what gaming was at that time. And it was during was like a year or two after the launch of the PlayStation 2 and the original Xbox and the GameCube. And he introduced me to what gaming was. And I said, oh my goodness. So we had some of the best years in gaming, and it was via, and then it carried over into the 360. Me and him lived together for a long time. And then we went our separate ways, right? He moved down south and I stayed up here, you know. That being said, my brother called me up about, I want to say a month ago, and he's a PC gamer mainly, but he hasn't been gaming frequently because he moved down. He's doing a bunch of things, you know, making some big strides, you know, doing some big things down south, right? And he wasn't really gaming all that much, but when he does game, he games on PC. So he calls me up after he's been at my house. He came up to my house, played some Stadia, was surprised at the fact that it wasn't a native platform. He's like, man, I'm shocked. He's like, I can't believe this. This is impressive. He said, but I can't get it because my internet is not the best. I said, okay, fine. So he goes back down south. He calls me up a week later and he says, bro, I got me a new console. And I knew it wasn't Stadia because if he wanted Stadia, he would have called me. So I had just assumed it was Xbox. And he was like, no, I got a PlayStation 4. I'm like, a PlayStation 4? And then the Xbox came out in me, right? Why you get a PlayStation 4? You know, if you want Xbox, you could do this and do that. They got Game Pass and all that, because I'm thinking that he wants to catch up. And he's like, bro, stop it. He said, I hear the material. I appreciate your passion. I love it. But I'm going to tell you something. You need to let it go. He said, you need to let it go. He said, look, man, Xbox, under this Phil Spencer guy, they are not deep-rooted into the hardcore games that me and you enjoyed those times when you was doing your 14-hour days, and then that Friday you would come in, you'd be like, pour the drinks, let's get the liquor going, and let's play games all weekend. It's not that, and we would crank up the music. It's not that time anymore. Meaning this guy that's in charge, he's not catering to us at all anymore. Now, we may have not indulged in PlayStation, that much, but if there's any symbol of what we did, it's coming from PlayStation. of the games that we like is coming from PlayStation, not coming from Xbox. He doesn't even want to say hardcore games. This guy doesn't even speak to us anymore. He said, now I hear that. He said, I love that I hear it in your voice. I love it hear it in your passion, but you got to let it go. You got to let it go. Leave it alone. His decision is made. He has every right to run Xbox the way that he is. Stop trying to sit there and say that he's not doing this and he's not doing that to hopefully you and whoever else that still can't let it go has some influence over Xbox. It's over. It's done with. And I said, you know what? You're right. You're right. So I can't bleed green for something that's died, is basically what I'm trying to say. That era of Xbox is over. If he's going to usher in a whole new era where they, at some point in time, refocus on hardcore gaming at some point in aspect again, great. But I don't look at Xbox for anything hardcore. They might have spackles of it, little driblets of it here and there, but hardcore gaming, that's not in their pedigree anymore. It's not. It's just not. And they've given that up. They don't care. They've resigned out to PlayStation. They want to partner with PlayStation. So I don't bleed green anymore because the heart, the membrane that used to pump the green juice is dead. It's gone. Will Halo Infinite potentially be great? Yeah. But like I said, little spackles here and there. You can tell in the verbiage, they don't even want to mention hardcore. How can you be gearing yourself up to service something that you don't even want to talk about? So as far as bleeding green anymore, no. I don't. And then just the simple fact that the guy flip-flops, the guy that's in charge is why bleeding green ain't even an option for me anymore. Let's see here. What else we got here? Okay, gotta run stated dosage. Okay, stated talk. Yeah, I'm going into the 2-hour mark. This was supposed to be half that time, so I'm about to wrap it up. And Antonio says Stadia dosage. See if Antonio's comment will pop up. But great comment, Cold Blood. Appreciate it. Okay, it's not popping up. What's going on? Got a great comment. Antonio says, excuse me. Oh, there it goes. Stadia dosage. When do you think YouTube integration will arrive? I think it's going to happen this year. It's going to happen with base. When they release the base model, which is the free model, where you just pay for the price of the game, that's when you're going to see the base. That's where I think you're going to see all the hard hitting stuff. They may have planned to roll things out in driblets, but I think they decided to hold, after they got all that pushback, I think they decided to hold everything back. He said, God bless you. I appreciate it, Antonio. And I'll take this will be the last question. Tresurrector says, Stadia dosage. How do you see the gaming landscape playing out over the next 5 years? Okay. So here's what I see happening. Let's divvy it up. Let's divvy it up into ecosystems, or not ecosystems, but platforms. Okay, so you're gonna have the big platform with what, Kitty? Stop. This is a hardcore video. I'm sitting there, hey Kitty, get out of here. Anyway, I see next year Amazon and Google really battling out. Once Amazon hits the scene, then they're going to quiet xCloud. And I'm happy for that. And not because I hate Xbox. It's not a hate thing. I'm resigned to the fact that, but what's going to happen is there's so much hate for Google that everybody in the community is doing anything but Google, right? Anybody that comes out with a streaming service that's connected to a dedicated solution, yeah, you're doing fantastic. Yay, you're great. xCloud is wonderful. xCloud is abysmal. I don't care that they have 50 to 80 games. It's like playing Russian roulette with those games because they don't perform consistently. So that's not acceptable to me because NVIDIA GeForce, even though it has its problems, is more consistent. Shadow is more consistent, and they nowhere near have the war chest that Microsoft has. So that's unacceptable to me. Now we fast forward to NVIDIA GeForce. NVIDIA GeForce says, oh, well, we have a dedicated device solution, but they're not built to be a sole dedicated. I mean, they're not built to be a sole cloud gaming solution. Hence why people got beat with a cash register in the head that bought Call of Duty, you know what I'm saying, solely to play on GeForce Now because their dedicated device or their computer wasn't up to par to play it. So everybody's now in the mindset of anybody but Google. When Amazon comes, they're going to be a worthy adversary and they're going to hop on Amazon. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that because that's going to be the inherent competition that will make Google better. All the people that have come out so far, they haven't stepped to task. If anything, they've dragged cloud gaming down. xCloud has dragged it down because their performance is abysmal. NVIDIA's dragged it down because their performance isn't consistent and they can't even keep the damn partners aboard. You know what I'm saying? We need a worthy adversary that's going to really push the gambit, was really going to push the envelope and put our necks under the gambit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and Amazon's going to do that. So I see in 2021, Amazon coming out and it really being a battle between Google and Amazon. Then in 2022, I think you start seeing xCloud becoming a staple within the conversation. And then in 2023, I see them helping usher in PlayStation and maybe Nintendo, and then whoever else wants to come on board. That's cloud gaming. As far as the console wars are concerned, I think PlayStation 5 mollywops everybody again. PlayStation 5 and Nintendo continues to mollywop everybody. I think in late 2020, early 2021, depending upon when the coronavirus, if it pushes consoles back, I think that the combo of PlayStation and Nintendo mollywops Xbox. We showed it last night on Next Gen 720's podcast where Xbox just they don't even know what direction they're going to go in. 1 minute is, you know, we want to be the Netflix of gaming. Next, we don't want to be the Netflix of gaming. And then Phil Spencer admitted in that Gamertag radio interview that he doesn't mind that there's going to be concessions made, quote, concessions made, because they're factoring the older hardware in their no console left behind approach. And you're not bringing in games that will make that box sing, quote unquote, as this is a term that we use in the gaming streets. You're not bringing software that's going to make that box sing for 2 years, for 1 to 2 years. In your 1 to 2 years, that's the hardcore people are the people that buy your console. And what hardcore people are expecting are the implementations that make the box sing the way that you can at a launch. Example, Call of Duty 2 for the Xbox 360 with that volumetric fog. Not only was that great visually, but it had a lot to do with how you played the game, how well you could see the AI. And then you roll forward to the Xbox One era with Rise and Dead Rising 3 with the 1,000 zombies on the screen or whatever. You couldn't do that prior generation. Supporting the doing cross-generation support. You couldn't do that. So imagine multiplayer games as a service that have to account for all this older hardware. There are things that they could have done that they're going to slice out now because of no console left behind approach. And the last example I'll use for that is this: Horizon Zero Dawn. Horizon Zero Dawn wanted to have flying in it, but the PlayStation 4 CPU couldn't handle it. Horizon Zero Dawn 2 is going to have flying in it. Guess what? It's not going to be supported on the PlayStation 4. And if that is going to have a games as a service element to it, it definitely can't be on the PlayStation 4. So there are certain aspects of that are going to make the experience like grand and dope and stuff like that they're going to have to, quote unquote, make concessions on, as Phil alluded to in that interview. That's going to be a problem for the hardcore people. And it's going to lead to this. If I got money to burn in my pocket, or I'm a hardcore gamer, and I go say, well, I'm probably going to get more bang out of my buck getting this PlayStation 5 because they're going to have games that's going to make the box sing. When they get that PlayStation 5, guess where they're getting their third-party games at now? Guess. They're not getting them on the Xbox anymore. They're getting the third-party games on the PlayStation 5 because they're going to look better there. They're likely going to trade in their Xbox and go solely with the PlayStation 5. And y'all were saying, well, who cares? There's going to be Xbox can play anywhere. Yeah, you can play Xbox anywhere, but playing Xbox on the PC, how does that help Xbox? They lose out on all that third-party revenue. If I play my Xbox on the PC, I don't get Xbox doesn't get the DLC revenue from Fortnite if I play it on my PC. They lose out on that. And a subscription service of $10, $14 a month doesn't supplement out of Game Pass, doesn't supplement what you're going to get from that DLC revenue. There's not enough people interested in Game Pass that's going to supplement the millions and millions and millions and tens of millions likely that are playing Fortnite on your ecosystem right now, that are playing Fortnite via Xbox. And xCloud ain't going to be ready all like that till 2022, 2023. And people want to play Fortnite at 60 frames per second. So if they can't play at 60 frames per second via xCloud, then xCloud is a non-factor right now. When xCloud becomes a factor, then yeah, you can forsake them buying an Xbox. But in them first 2 years, you need as many people buying an Xbox as possible or sticking to your ecosystem. And again, if I buy a PlayStation 5, I'm buying all my multiplats on my PlayStation 5 from now on. And even if I can play your games on a PC, I'm not buying third parties via Xbox anymore on a PC. So I don't like this approach. He says, give me a list of your, Trizzle Rector says, give me a list of your biggest players 1 to 5 in the next 5 years. 5 will be Nintendo. 4 will be I'm your list. I'm kind of with. I'm gonna highlight your list. Yeah, I'm with your list. Yep. Trizzle Rector, I totally agree. Amazon, Google, PlayStation, Microsoft, Nintendo. I totally agree. Because the big battle for the 2 billion gamers or 8 billion, whatever Phil says it is, that's going to be between Amazon and Google. Microsoft will be lost in the sauce, and that's where they're going to falter because they're trying to be jack of all trades, master of none. So, all right, guys, with that said, I want to thank y'all very much for coming through. I appreciate all of y'all, man. This was a great show. I went over longer. 2 hours. I was supposed to have been done. But with that said, I want to thank everybody for coming through. I want to thank the chat for their participation. As always, I appreciate it, y'all. And I want to thank everybody that gave comments or whatever. And if you want to support the platform, as always, there you go. You can do it there. We're going to be doing some more content and hopefully I'll be able to squeeze in the stream soon. So with that said, that's it from your boy MM2K. I appreciate all of y'all. Thank y'all so much. And as always, y'all have a wonderful, wonderful gaming day. Peace.
Stay sick cause I follow my gut. They say I was pushing my luck. I'ma push me, I'm at all black truck. Oh, I'm not sorry.